broadcasting that to your students on a projector, they're seeing my screen.
Got it.
If that's connected to a PA system, they're hearing my voice. And if you talk into it, I'll hear your voice. And so you can talk to my students who are seeing my screen.
So do you like this better than like doing a Skype because you can show what's on your computer?
I do. Plus, the Skype doesn't record.
Right, it doesn't save it. Yeah.
So everything we're doing right now is being recorded on YouTube. Even if the signal fails, it's been recorded on YouTube. And if you go back and you don't like it, you can edit the parts out off of YouTube.
Awesome.
So what I do is I teach the same lesson 3 times in a day. And maybe the beginning of my first lesson was awesome because I just had coffee and I'm really going at it, right? But towards the end, I'm having like a caffeine drop. And so the end was just horrible. But the ending of my last one was awesome. So what I can do is take the beginning of my first one, the ending of my last one, mesh them together in YouTube, and it looks like I'm the greatest teacher ever because it's the best stuff for that day. Because YouTube has its own video editor, where you can just snip your videos together. Now, here's the power of this. Now, you're in different rooms, so there is maybe a 1-second lag. But when you're in separate rooms, it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Okay. So I would be broadcasting this to 3 other sites. On the screen, I would have our lesson. I'm not presenting in PowerPoint because the students don't have any equity in the lesson. The other students in the other room would just be sitting there, watching the screen, hearing some voice come out of the speakers, and that's it. That's not an entertaining or an interactive lesson. So I always incorporate this with Nearpod. Okay? So with Nearpod, and this is the only reason I encouraged my principal to purchase the educational license. The free license, which I do encourage if you're just going to be a standalone classroom, lets 30 students join at a time. And if you have more than 30, you can always have them team up to fit your room. The Gold account allows 50 students at a time. The educational account allows 100 at a time. But I've asked them to bump me up because I do 3 classes at a time, so I need at least 120 students to be available to join in. But now what I do, while I'm doing this, I go to nearpod.com, and if none of you were in my sessions before, Nearpod is an interactive presentation tool where you can have your students do a quick quiz after any question or anything like that. So what I do is I start the lesson. And if you haven't used Nearpod before, you can actually join this lesson here because you'll be pretending like you're actually in my class. And we'll do a Mars lesson. It's a live lesson. And you see on your screen how it's my screen? Your students would see that. They would log into Nearpod, and now they are part of this giant class. And whenever I move my screen, their screen moves. Whenever I ask a question to my students, it's asking the same question to your students. When I'm asking my students to draw something, it's asking your students to draw something. When they're turning something in, I can see it and push it up on this screen. It goes to 120 student screens all at once. It creates a community lesson, not just a closed wall lesson. Now, we have this, we have it recording, we have the Nearpod, and what did we talk about with back channels? We can have everybody in all the classrooms connected to one of our back channels. And so, all the students in my department, I say all of our students, because even though they're not in my class, they are my students at this point, they all know that if they have a question during the lesson, they just go on Twitter and type in @MarquezScience and ask their question. That way, Johnny, in a room all the way across campus, can ask me a direct question when I'm way over here in this room. So I'll get his question, I'll answer it on screen, live on air, and him all the way across campus is like, I asked that question. I'm actually part of it. Now that's just on campus. I've done this with my friend in Indiana. So we have Indiana kids joining in conversations with California kids. And so it takes that mystery Skype, but turns it into an actual lesson to make it more beneficial, right? So you could always start one of these as a mystery Skype and then say, guess what? We're doing the lesson together as a class, let's go, right? And so it really brings that community together. And that's why, in conjunction with my Google On-Air Hangouts and my dual co-teaching lesson, Nearpod has been invaluable to me, and that is the reason why I had my principal purchase the educational license, so I can get that 120 classroom of students. And it's been working out phenomenal. And when we're done, let's say the lesson is over and we're done, and if you haven't seen Nearpod, when I switch the screen, their screen switches, right? And then you can also have virtual field trips in Nearpod, so they're on Mars. And so when we're done, all I do is I go back to my Hangout, I click Stop Broadcast,